Palm Island, also known as Great Palm Island, or by the Aboriginal name Bookerman, is a tropical island situated approximately 70 kilometres north-northeast of Townsville. Palm is the main island of the Greater Palm Group and consists of small bays, sandy beaches and steep forested mountains rising to a peak of 548 metres over the 6,000 hectare area. The island is home to one of the largest Aboriginal communities in the state, with a resident population of about 4,000 with an average age of 24, 13 years below the Australian average. The original Manburra people and the 64 tribal groups living on Palm Island have a long history of racism and oppression against them. In 1914, the island was established as a government settlement and, over the next 2 decades, some 1,600 people from 40 different Aboriginal tribes and language groups across Queensland were removed by the state government and taken to the island. Academic papers have noted that the destruction of Indigenous Australian culture has resulted in ongoing grief, despair and confusion, including the disruption of traditional gender roles, especially for men, cultural values and pride, disruption of kinship networks and support systems, and confusion of people forced to balance between two often irreconcilable cultures. This video endeavours to demonstrate the culturally constructed framework shaped by the Palm Island Community Company Diversion Services, in particular the Men's Gathering program, designed to start the conversation with the men on Palm Island to encourage them to share their life experiences and to utilise their cultural knowledge as a source and means of healing and empowerment. Registered as a company in 2007, PICC is a non-for-profit organisation that enjoys tripartisan support and contribution from the Queensland Government, Palm Island Aboriginal Shire Council and the Palm Island community members, with a board of directors that are made up of representatives from these partners. The model through which the PICC structure is implemented provides the ability to link service delivery across community, government and individuals with a coordinated, integrated approach. For the past 5 years, PICC has continued to develop and roll out programs and services designed to support and strengthen the social and cultural fabric of Palm Island. A key program targeting males is the PICC Diversionary Service and the Men's Gathering program.
Myself and Frank Conway linked in with other services such as mental health, probation, parole, correctional services, also ATODs and the police services, joining together to start something such as a men's gathering. We started this in late 2009 and it's been a success story, being at different part of the community, having a barbecue, having a yarn, and having people, come in and let a bit of steam off sometimes and talk about some of the issues that need to be addressed and fixed within the community. Yeah, well, it's totally helping men in being honest with themselves and letting them know there's no one else to blame. There's no one else to blame but themselves with wanting to do something, and just to help them develop some sort of pride for themselves, to find their way again. All the men have been lost. They have been down, and not there's no support. So it's all about having them get that support and be recognised in the community again as fathers, as men of the community.
This program has grown to be very successful thanks to the hard work of staff and the focused, tailored and personal way it's delivered.
We started off with two guys, went at bush, sat down, had a cup of tea over a campfire, had a yarn, conversation, and it's grew from there. There's about 330 something registered. We do get groups in each Wednesday. We have probably a different group tomorrow night to the last group. So the main focus of having guys to realize there's a space here to talk about issues, how to fix it, how to better the community. Not a perfect community, but a better community in circumstances with gathering the information.
Palm Island Diversion Services works with people on Palm Island who are vulnerable with complex needs, and particularly people who are intoxicated or at risk of misusing substances in public spaces and or are at risk of entering police custody.
My name is Mislam Sam. I'm the Program Manager with the Palm Island Diversionary Service here on Palm Island. I'm both of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander descent. I think the Diversionary Service plays a pivotal role in Palm Island community, especially with the men on the island. We've got three forms of programs that we focus on, and which is the Alcohol Demand Reduction Program. That's where we open our office doors up from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. The second one is our Adult Patrol, and that's servicing the community for 26 hours per week. And the third one is our Rest and Recovery. So whatever we pick up on the streets or wherever, anyone in trouble at a time that may be a bit intoxicated, we'll take them in and look after them for a while. The men's gathering is, I like to think of it as the flagship of all our programs. It creates a space where we get everyone sitting around and everyone's on equal terms, and we discuss things and issues in our community and work out ways what we can do. Getting away from the boredom factor. We seem to, boredom seems to lead to a lot of unnecessary things in our community. So we just want to get the men taking ownership of their problems and working out what they want to do, rather than dictating and setting up programs that maybe you won't get no attendance. Also, we've got camping grounds starting to be developed as we speak, and also arts and craft. We've got our health and fitness gym that's in our shed that we like to call our men's shed, and it's on similar concepts of our men's sheds right around the nation of Australia, and creates a space where you get men in, both elders and young, and they just sit around and talk about stuff and work on ways that we can better our community. And at the end of the day, that's going to it's going to lessen the extent of alcohol consumption and drug use if we get the men involved in doing something proactive for our community, where we actually give back to our community and start doing things that it's going to better us and better for generations to come. Every Wednesday we usually have our men's gathering. We get close to 20 to 30 men here on every given Wednesday. Usually run from about 5 till about 10 o'clock at night. We chose those hours because we wanted to include some of the workers, get them involvement in our men's gathering process, and with the current climate at the moment, it's better to have it at night, especially in the tropics. Well, I would like to think that through our men's gathering and all the other programs that's derived from it, we could start doing more proactive things in our community that's going to better it, in the way that, we're always judged on some of the bad stuff that's over-exaggerated in the media, and they paint a bad picture of our island. It's actually a great place to live, a beautiful place. You couldn't find the most friendliest people in Australia, and we need to work towards, increasing our participation in anything that goes on in our community. Because if we continue down this track, somewhere down the line, it's going to create jobs. It's going to create a better island, and we sort of like to judge ourselves on if we're doing all this with all the men, getting them involved and all the other stuff, getting away from welfare dependency. We'd like to think, and it's a main topic in all our men's gathering programs, that welfare dependency has created a next generation of people that's lazy, and we need to get up and do something. We started off the health and fitness program where every man had to go to the hospital and get a health check, because at the end of the day, most of us men in our community, we sort of only go to hospital when we really need to, and it's always too late. So we're looking at doing proactive stuff and rather than reactive stuff, and getting our men involved and taking ownership of their problems, but also ownership of community problems where we work towards a better day.
There are 3 key service areas. The first includes a community adult patrol, where the purpose is to reduce the risk of people becoming involved in activities that could lead to contact with the justice system, either as victims or offenders. The community patrol operates every night except Monday. The second is the operation of a diversion centre, where the primary goal is to reduce the incident of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander deaths in police custody. The diversion centre offers a safe, monitored environment for people to sober up as an alternative to being held in police custody for public intoxication offences. The diversion centre provides flexible and responsive 24/7 care and appropriate support. The third is about reducing demand, and this is where the men's gathering program has had so much success. The gathering has created a safe and shared space that promotes an active process of cultural renewal and spiritual well-being. It encourages the interaction and learning of elders. It provides cultural pathways for men to examine their position in the community and to find leadership among themselves. It also helps to examine the connections between Indigenous spirituality, emotional well-being, and good health for individuals, families, and the Palm Island community. The men's gathering facilitates and supports them to start the conversation. Via a range of on-the-ground activities which aim to reduce alcohol-related harm to the vulnerable community members, the program includes contemporary and traditional arts and crafts, including things like traditional wood carving, bushwalking, sports, fishing, personal development, music, and participation in TAFE courses.
Yeah, I help the guys in the men's gathering for help them do a lot of cooking on Wednesday nights. They get me to make a lot of dampers and stuff for them. Yeah, a lot of traditional tucker. We cook up like goat, turtles and stuff, and a lot of scones and dough balls and whatever, coconut damper, stuff like that. I help out a lot of bushwalking on Fridays afternoon or Friday morning if we can. Take our young fellas out and show them a lot of, get the young people if we can, to show them how to make spears and stuff, Yeah, show them all the traditional stuff, all the traditional hunt, how to hunt. Try to keep it on, to our younger people. We like to show the younger boys, the younger children, how to make spears and boomerangs and stuff. We cut out a thing, didgeridoos. But mainly we go into the scrub and they got a handle, a spear handle that's called dural. That's the language name, dural. Gets them out of mischief a lot, It's good to come with us elders.
Yeah, I'm Frank Conway, and I run one of the programs out of Diversionary. Music is one of them, and through our discussion through the men's gathering, we found that some of the younger fellas who participated in the circle wanted to learn some music instruments and stuff like that, so we sort of looked at participation first and numbers, I suppose, just to get equipment. Yeah, it comes from the older fellas, I suppose. Most of them now is sort of getting older and wanted to sort of pass the music on, because music was a big part of not just only this community but every other community, and Palm is known for playing music. And some of the older ones now wanted to sort of pass it on through the men's gathering as and part of this program. So that's sort of come about with the music side of things. Well, since we started anyway, it was roughly around 5 we started off with. Now it's grown up to sort of probably 20 at tops. Yeah, there's like about 4 or 5 different groups play on the island. Yeah, so we get a good little turnout on the spring festivals or the Native Week, yeah, and everybody probably chip in to play whatever instrument if someone's not available. Music is a big part, like I said, and some fellas just come here just to use that time and space to sort of get some of their talking out through the music too as well. So I used to play a little bit before, not as much as I play now, but it just come about with, I suppose, with the young fellas that were playing, and we got another older fella does the rhythm and lead and stuff. Yeah, we just come up just practicing and stuff like that. But for my thing was to we don't come from Palm, and our people was taken away from their countries and stuff, stuck on Palm. So sort of like we just sort of ride around them sort of stuff. If you were sort of looking for us, then we're going to be on Palm. We just started up a new camping stuff, trip to the island, cleaning our scout camp up that they used some years ago, where they took kids over for scout and stuff like that. There's a shed there that now we're trying to rebuild it, I suppose, and just sort of like taking blokes over there where they can have input to probably get away from the island and actually do something positive, work with others that are bored, and put skills together.
Brother, it's a good idea that we got this camp over here to rebuild and restore our community folks of coming here and rebuilding their family relationship together with their kids. Our culture, it's slowly dying, but it's easy to revive our spirit within ourselves, to having to do some of these programs what we did before, maybe traditional knowledge would fill over, talking about the history of our custom, our tribal people.
Last 12 months ago, I think, 12 months, we went to visit a prison. And it's made me think then, when to being in prison, that we had population of 25 years and under was the highest group in the prisons. And not much of our elders are in there no more. They either passed on or they're released. And it's sad to see a young population incarceration is so high still to this day. But like Vaughan saying, partnership with the correctional centre and other services, that I think we can work together and getting some of those young fellas back on the right track. I mean, it's just probably me and you and
brother, you know, we've been on the right track, and we jumped off the rail, and then we lost a lot of stuff when we jumped off the rail. We got too far caught up in drug and alcohol, domestic side of things, neglect. It had to come to a point when we have to wake up to ourselves, and we don't want to see our kids going through it, because this is a hard life. Lucky we pulled through it with the help and the support of our elders. What we had left, we've probably been the last of us who had that sort of knowledge from our elders, and that's why the passion that we have passion is for other people in the community, to see all their falls, just to give them some tools to help lift it. Just keep on building, having fellas to keep coming forward and getting into their own programs, their own structure. We'll have groups of guys to clean up one area for another campsite. We'll have another group on the other side, talking about one of the outer islands, talking about building a stone wall there against wall of the cemetery, where our people, our families connection was sent there for leprosy. Maybe put a plaque up there on Phantom. Probably build barbecue camps around the sites, utilize the place more often, and be passionate about the islands for what we got here, but also give us a bit of a clean out to understand where we want to be. We want to be here, we want to be there. Also, we want to get back to country, and this is the starting point.
Yeah, I like the one you say we go back to country, because we're not, like we said, we're not from this place, but our ancestors have been sent here, and we can only do so much things around here. I suppose down back to country and getting the full, what's the name? I think we can deal with that on a spiritual level, and I think we've got a good spiritual capacity to also go back, get our kids back into mainstream education, and I reckon it'll work side by side, and out of prison, and there's laws on both sides, and then if you follow your LORE, it should cancel out your LAW.
Importantly, the program is created by the men for the men, so is relevant, participated in, and engenders real and generational change in the community, which is spearheaded by Palm Island men. For more information on PICC, including the men's programs such as our diversion services, visit www.picc.com.au. diversion.org.au.